Alright, today I'm going to bring you guys an updated build video. This is an exciting one because you don't need any type of crafting skills to do it. You don't need armoring, you don't need weaponsmith, and you don't need anything. We're going to go over in this video everything you need to know, from where to get every single piece of named item for the build. If you end up enjoying this video, please consider dropping a like or subscribing to my YouTube channel. But the best way to support me is going to be over on Twitch. I go live pretty much every single day streaming New World. So if you ever have any questions about the build, if you just want to hang out, that's where you can find me. So the first piece is going to be Frigid Dawn Heavy Gloves. As you see, we have two pieces of freedom on the build. I put one of them on the gloves. The next piece is going to be Frigid Dawn, named item, heavy headwear. This has thrust conditioning. Now keep in mind we have two pieces of thrust conditioning on this build. If the meta changes, you could put any type of conditioning. You could put slash conditioning on it if you're worried about hatchets or the SNS or Great Axe. The next piece is going to be the Frigid Dawn legwear. We have, again, thrust conditioning. This is the second piece of thrust conditioning. The fourth piece is going to be heavy footwear, also Frigid Dawn. So it's 4 pieces of Frigid Dawn for armor. We have Enfeebling Skewer, which applies weaken, reducing the target's damage by 27% for 8 seconds. It is very important for the build. You can get all these Frigid Dawn pieces from Glacial Tarn. It has to be mutated, and it can drop one time on the final boss. So I recommend just doing M1s, just trying to get the Frigid Dawn. The armor artifact is going to be the same as the last build. It's going to be the Void Dark Plate. We have our second piece of freedom on here, which brings us to 2. So how you get the Void Dark Plate is going to be barnacles and black powder. Expedition, again, must be mutated. Recommend just running M1 so you get it. The amulet that we're going to run on this build is going to be the Champion's Amulet. It has locked on it health and shirking and power. This one has strike protection on it. What I recommend for the build is going to be thrust protection. You know, it's not a bad thing to get a few of these champion rings if they come up on your PvP track and just have different types of protection on it. Because the way to get it is going to be from the PvP track reward. You can get it from 19 on, and you have to be level 60 to wear it. The ring is going to be the same ring as the last build. It's going to be the Syncretic Ring. It has Mortal Empowerment, Keen Awareness, and Bloodletting. You can get that ring from Brimstone Sands. Any named boss or enemy within Brimstone Sands has a chance to drop the Syncretic Ring. The jewelry artifact is going to be the same as the last build. It's going to be the Endless Thirst. I put Refreshing Toast on it. It is what I recommend. Consumable cooldown, 10% faster. You can get the Endless Thirst from Savage Divine Expedition. You have to run it mutated. So again, just run M1 until you get it. The shield for this build is going to be a named shield called Corrupt Progenitor Round Shield. It is the only round shield in the game that has Fortifying Shield Rush on it. So you're going to add for the third perk, Keenly Empowered. You can get this from Shattered Mountain from any named enemy. Any named enemy will have a chance to drop that shield. The heart rune that I recommend for this build is going to be Stone Form. This one has hardened form and fortifying form on it. Like I said, the nice thing about this build is you do it all with chromatic seals. It's a BIS build. You could even do wars with it. That's how good it is. You're going to get that heart rune from Lazarus. It does not have to be mutated. You could just beat it on regular Lazarus and you get it. So the gem that you're going to put in all 3 pieces of your jewelry is going to be the cut pristine opal. You're going to get plus 2.5% elemental damage absorption, which is going to stack on top of the elemental aversion that's on the Frigid Dawn. So the first rune glass is going to be the rune glass of Punishing Ruby. This is what I have on my Void Dark Plate. It does plus 5% fire damage absorption. Your melee attacks deal 1% more damage. So fire is always an issue. The fire staff is always going to be strong in this game. The next rune glass is going to be Abyssal Jasper. This goes on both of your weapons. Gain a stack of 8% damage for 5 seconds after blocking or taking a hit. Max 3 stacks. Hits inflict corrosion, dealing 8% void damage per second for 2 seconds. Rune Glass of Punishing Onyx. This is going to go on the 4 pieces of Frigid Dawn. 2% physical damage absorption. Your melee attacks deal 1% more damage. So the nice thing about this build, as opposed to the last one, is you have so much more resistance to more things, right? Running the Onyx gives you resistance against the Hatchet, Greatsword, Warhammer, all that stuff. So this is the tree for the SNS, the short sword and shield. I put a few little boxes up there to kind of highlight some of the important things on this tree, so you can get familiar with it, you can understand what it does, and you can use the build better. Next, we're going to go over the spear tree. Same thing. I put a few things on the screen to show you some of the important ways that this is utilized. A few of them go over stamina regeneration. I also show strong momentum under Cyclone. Do not use that. It pushes enemies back. You don't want that. So our weapon for spear is going to be the life range spear. We put fortifying perforate on the life range spear. You get that in Eden Grove from Malevolence. It is a named boss. There's the location of where he's at on the screen. The artifact weapon is going to be the same as the last build, the Butcher. We put, I believe, Keenly Jagged on the Butcher. It's very good. There's a lot of bleed, ton of bleed on this build. You get that from Dynasty Shipyard Expedition. Again, it has to be a M1 or higher. So just run an M1 so you get it. Alright, so these are the attributes. 200 con, 300 dex, 111 strength. I put on there the benefit of each. At 200 con, you get plus 10% increased physical and elemental damage, or our elemental armor. 100 strength plus 10% physical damage. 300 dex, weapon swapping will cleanse all stun and root crowd control status effects. You could do that every 30 seconds. That is extremely important because when you get rooted, you just swap your weapon and you get right out of it. Alright people, I'm going to show you a few different combos that you can start fights with this build. But keep in mind, the first thing that you want to do before even engaging in the fight is using a mana potion. Always use this when it's not on cooldown. It's going to give you fortify and empowerment. So the way I prefer to start a fight is with the spear with the skewer. The reason why you don't always start with this is because it's a slow animation. It's easy to block or evade. But if you think you can pull it off, start with the skewer. That's going to weaken them, make their damage less. Follow up with the perforate. That's going to give you a ton of fortify. So right there, their weekend, you have a bunch of fortify. Follow up with the cyclone. And at about that time, your empowerment and fortify from the perforate is going to be gone. So switch to your SNS. If you could pop another mana potion, if you're like squirreling around or whatever, you could pop another potion if you can. But try to get a heavy attack in if you can to get all that empowerment. You get the haste if you get a crit. And then hit him with the shield rush. That's going to give you fortify. So the heavy is going to give you empowerment. Shield rush is going to give you fortify. And then just follow up with attacks, right? At this point, they're going to be pretty messed up. So I always keep leaping strikes in your back pocket, right? You're going to keep this not in a ranged or like in a close range fight. If he starts to run because he's really weak, you want to have that in your back pocket to catch up. You always want to do that. The other way to start a fight is if I'm in a fight with a more skilled player, I will start it with my sword and shield for that leaping strike, right? Which I just said keep it. But if you use it first, it's likely to be off cooldown when you need it again. So pop a mana potion, you know, you're kind of sizing each other up, and this thing's quick, right? When you use it, it usually catches them off guard. It's a lot quicker than skewer. So you can usually get that first hit. They're usually like kind of like, oh shit, you know what I mean? You can follow up with the whirling blade. Hit him with this, do a couple light attacks while you have the fortify up from the shield rush. And then as soon as, you know, this is all done super quick, you know. As soon as you pull out your spear, hit him with this just to get your fortify up. Because you could have people behind you that are hitting you, you know what I mean? And the fortify is going to work against anything. If there's a musket guy over there, you want to get that fortify up as soon as possible. You know, and even the skewer, even though it's close range, you want to weaken them, right? So I'll kind of show you the combo in fast motion once everything's off cooldown. You're going to pop the mana potion. That's kind of what you want to do for that one. Other way, like I said, if you think you can get skewer off, hit him with the skewer, hit him with the perforate, hit him with the cyclone, maybe do a couple light attacks, switch. Just like that. Now at this point, he's probably running if he's not dead. You have this in your back pocket. I still have haste from the crit. So that's how I recommend to do the combos with this build. Alright people, that's going to conclude the updated Season 5 build for New World. We went over every single thing I could think of that you may need to know. If you enjoyed this video, just know that the best way to support me would be to come over to Twitch and watch me live, which you can come there, you can ask any questions you have, you can hang out. We have a cool growing community of nice players. There's a bunch of players in my chat that know more than I do. So you could always come in, hang out, vibe with us. And I only make YouTube videos on builds that I use. So if you come to the channel, you will see me using this build, assuming we're doing PvP at the moment. So that would be the best way to support me, is going to Twitch and checking me out. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'm off. I'm actually going live here as soon as I get this video uploaded. So you guys have a good one. See you later.